Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer with the Thanksgiving Day feature. The DRF race of the day at Del Mar, race number 6, 1 mile and 3/8 on the turf. It's the red carpet. It's a grade 3 for fillies and mares. Let's take a look at this field. Please scan the QR code for race of the day access on mobile. The 7, Sister O'Toole, is your 5-2 morning line favorite. We've seen this trick before, especially from the Graham Motion barn. You ship one west, you make hay. That's what worked with Sister O'Toole the last time she went 11 furlongs at Del Mar. She won the CTT and TOC.
Yeah, exactly. Motion tends to send the right ones out to Southern California. Has a really good record with his turf horses out here, and it just feels like he's found another good spot for this filly.
Shouldn't be a ton of speed in this race. We'll throw up the Timeform US pace projector. I completely agree that the 2, Angel Nadeshiko, is going to show speed off of a gate-to-wire win, but that race came on dirt. That appears to be her best surface, so not only does she have surface and class questions to address, but distance as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot working against her. I do think she's going to probably try to make the lead in here. I think, you know, the one horse who doesn't appear on the pace projector, Dan, is the 5, Bell Street Bridie, who is making her stateside debut here. It'll be interesting to see what she does, because when her form got good over in England earlier this year, she was a speed horse.
A horse that might get a little bit closer to the pace is another horse stretching out. That's the number 1, Lady J, who is 3rd in this race, going 6.5 furlongs down the hill at Santa Anita. This is the Senator Ken Maddie. And Lady J didn't get off to the most alert beginning in this race, kind of in between horses here, an upper stretch, going to get to the outside, run on well for 3rd at a big price. This is a huge stretch out in distance, 6.5 all the way out to 1 mile and 3/8. I would expect her to be closer to the pace.
Yeah, me too. She did run pretty well in here at a big price. Also had a really good setup. They went a wicked pace in front of her, and she took advantage to some extent, but she still ran the race that she ran. It was a good performance. I thought she was hard to like in here.
Patty Gallagher will send out the likely speed. That's the 2, Angel Nadeshiko. Won 2 of the last 3 starts. Both of those races have come on dirt. I guess you could make an excuse for this 3-year-old filly's most recent turf run at Del Mar over the summer. It was a race where she didn't break very well. The pace wasn't fast, picked up a couple of horses late. But even with those excuses, I'm still not sure this is her surface.
Yeah, I mean, that has to be a big concern. I guess you could say it's a sign of confidence from Patty Gallagher that he's going to run her in a stakes race here. But her 2 turf starts have both left something to be desired. And I think it's also worth noting, Dan, that in both of those races, she didn't break great either time. And she's a horse who wants to be on the lead.
Jeff Mullen sends out the 3, Quattro L, and it looks like this filly is back in form. We're going to watch her most recent start. Now, you're going to see she's 4 wide on the turn, and often you don't want that sort of ground loss. But I think in the context of this race, Mike, and the folks can check, then click on the short comment line to watch the whole video, maybe 4 wide was where you wanted to be, because with her going to the outside, the number 2 horse was herded in and shuffled back. The 2 gets out too late. Quattro L got the jump on her, and that might have made all the difference.
It probably made the difference as far as who was going to win the race. But it was still a good performance for this horse because, you know, being that wide around the final turn, especially when you consider the horse that finished 3rd in there, who's also back in here, Duvet Day, got right through on the rail through the stretch. Between those 2, you can go back and watch the replay of that one. You can't take Duvet Day. You got to take this horse out of that race. I guess the question now is she good enough? Does she want to go this far?
That's the main question for me. She's shown some class in the past, graded stakes placed as a 2-year-old. Now it's all about the distance. She's never been farther than that most recent race, 1 mile and 1/8. Dramatizer is next. Timeform US has her relatively close to the pace on the pace projector. She's making her 2nd start off the Keith DeZormo claim. She made hay first off the claim at 12-1. This race is a first level optional claimer. You see her getting to the clear under Mike Smith, and she mows him down late.
Yeah, good finish. She puts in through this race to close it down. It was certainly a step in the right direction, first off the claim for DeSormo. It's still a significant step up in class for this horse. I liked this win from her, Dan. I thought she ran well in here. It didn't necessarily make me want to bet her back in this race.
Another horse that must prove herself at longer distances. Now, distance should not be a problem for the European import. The number 5, Bell Street Bridie, who picks up Flavien Prat, will make her first start for Mark Glatt. This horse sold for $311,000 at public auction after her most recent race. Now, she wasn't facing the top class competition over there, but she was getting good in her recent efforts. And that last race looks pretty live. It's produced a couple of next out winners. The runner-up stepped up to win a listed stake.
Yeah, and that's the race that sort of confirms that she actually really is in good form. That she had won her prior 3 starts against, I would say, some suspect competition. That was a pretty significant step up in class for her last time, though. She ran well again. So I suppose that does really suggest that she's in good form right now. And again, she is a horse who, at least over there, and it doesn't always translate, they were going forward with her in those races, either putting her on the lead or right up close to the pace. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of trip she gets here.
Scarabee is up next. She was good enough to finish second behind Sister O'Toole in the aforementioned CTT and TOC going this distance at Del Mar. Last time out in the Rodeo Drive, she was wired. The pace was not very fast, but it's not like she was coming from 100 lengths out of it. She was up close to the pace. She had a good trip. She just wasn't good enough. I think on her best day with the right trip, she can be right there. Demand value. 5-1 in the morning line, to me, a little bit light.
Yeah, that I looked at her the same way. I think she's okay, and I don't think she's in over her head in this race. I do remember, I don't know which race it was, Dan. One of the races we did at Gulfstream earlier this year. I remember really liking her in one of those and being really disappointed that she didn't get the job done. I don't know. She ran okay. I guess you would just say for her most recent start anyway, she's not a grade 1 horse. She got a great trip in that race, and she had no excuse. She just wasn't good enough. I thought she ran well 2 starts back when Sister O'Toole beat her.
Here's the morning line favorite, Sister O'Toole. She won the stake at Del Mar over the summer, going 11 furlongs. She got 2 months off. She shipped back to Keeneland. She ran well again. This is the Grade 3 Dowager going 1.5 miles. And this was a pace that was pretty solid. It's set up pretty well for Sister O'Toole. She gets to the outside. She's going to run on to finish third. But you could argue that the competition she was in against in this race stronger than the field she's going to face on Thanksgiving. Temple City Terror, I think, would be odds on in this field.
Yeah, I agree. This is a tougher race, and she runs fine in here. She's only third best, but it's an okay performance. Her win the last time they brought her to Del Mar in August, she ran well that day. That's an interesting race to go watch because I'm not totally convinced she ran that much better than Scarabee did in that race, but she did make the early move, sat last early, and then made a really early move to get herself into contention and managed to stay to the end to win that race. I think she's pretty good. This is a good spot for her. Motion so far, Dan, in 2022, turf stakes races in Southern California, 4 for 6, and the 2 that didn't win finished second. The ROI is almost $6.
Queen of the Temple is up next, the number 8. And although this filly is still eligible for a non-winners of 2 life, I think there are some things to recommend using her, perhaps at a price on the very bottom of your single race exotic tickets. Now, I thought she looked pretty good 2 starts back over course and distance in a first level allowance. She finished second that day behind Duvet Day. Last time out, they really stepped her up in the Rodeo Drive. There was just no pace for her to run at. I'm willing to forgive that performance. She does have some upside.
Yeah, she's exiting that same race that Scarabee was in, the Rodeo Drive there. She was behind Scarabee the entire way there, but they both just sat on the rail the entire way there. Neither one of them lost any ground. They rode the inside. They made no impact. I realized that she ran, the best race of her career on figures, but I didn't really see her do a ton of running there.
Duvet Day is up next. This horse was a winner of a first level allowance, beating Queen of the Temple 3 starts back. I thought she did some good work in that spot. I was hoping she would run a little bit better in the CTT and TOC. She did not. She ran okay in her most recent start to finish third, but we saw the trips. She had a good one. Quattroel lost a lot of ground. And as you mentioned in the open, if you're trying to take one horse out of that race, you're probably taking Quattroel.
Yeah, just based on that, the trips they got in that race, 100%, I would rather have the other horse. I guess the flip side of that argument, Dan, is that was 9 furlongs. This filly does seem like she's better going longer. So stretching back out to 1 mile and 3/8, it could really help Duvet Day, and it might not help Quattroel.
And perhaps getting back to Del Mar will work as well. The last race, of course, at Santa Anita. Before we get to our top picks, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for all the latest DRF video franchises. Top pick time for our Thanksgiving Day race of the day, the Grade 3 red carpet. Sister O'Toole can't go against that motion stat, Mike. That's very impressive stuff.
it's just a good spot for her. I really did want to take the 6 Scarabee against her, then just give her one more chance. I guess I'll wait and see what the prices look like come post time. To me, it was between those two.
I want to see if Quattroel can handle the additional distance. This horse has always shown quality. Again, graded stakes placed at 2. Got back on the winning track last time out with that wide trip. To me, I think she classes up with this field. It's whether she gets the distance. 7635 for Mike, 3876 for me. The Grade 3 red carpet, the Thanksgiving Day race of the day. Approximate post time for race 6 at Del Mar is 1:29 Pacific. Good luck.